Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be diving into the big event, the main event, why we're here in the first place, right? Preparing for this time where you're going to actually get to birth your baby. And this is such a euphoric point in your life. There's nothing like this experience. And so getting yourself ready and educated to really know and understand your body, your physiology, your baby, what questions to ask, how to communicate with your physicians, how to communicate your needs, how to trust your intuition, literally all this stuff. So let's talk about that physical preparation of your body, your mind, your emotional and your mental preparation, your birth plans and options, your partner and support system for preparation, education and classes, and preparing for the home for your baby's arrival. And also diving into signs of labor and when to go to the hospital if you're going to the hospital, or if you're staying at home just to relax and sink into it even more. And how to set your mind with labor and delivery. This is a time that your body is really capable of doing all the work itself. There's nothing you need outside of yourself to birth a healthy baby. And you're going to see, maybe for the first time, maybe for the second, third, or fourth, that your body knows the way. You know the way. You release all the other things, and it just can happen so blissfully, so organically that you can't help but share and glow about. And then the post-birth recovery and care. So let's dive into this topic. And please, if you have never done so before, this may be a great time to share the course and help lead the way to a fertile future. So let's get started with the physical preparation. The physical preparation, the prenatal care. This is the cornerstone of physical preparation for childbirth. It's when you're providing vital support and monitoring for both the mother and developing baby. So you may see you have regular checkups with your healthcare provider, and it usually happens as soon as you find out that you're pregnant. These appointments usually are checking for maternal health and tracking the growth of the baby and early identification of potential complications. Some of the key screenings and tests can play a role to ensure that you're having a healthy pregnancy, and an ultrasound can be performed to visualize the baby's development and confirm due dates, while also tests like glucose tests can assess the risk for gestational diabetes. Other important screenings may include blood work to test for anemia, infections, or genetic conditions, and monitoring fetal development and maternal health throughout these tests can ensure that the baby and the mother are thriving. And then let's talk exercise and movement, because of course it's going to play a role to make sure that you are in your best health for this baby coming into the world. So staying active during your pregnancy offers numerous benefits that contribute to overall well-being and can positively impact your labor and delivery. So engaging in regular physical activity can lead to improved stamina, which is crucial for enduring challenges of labor. Additionally, exercise can help reduce common discomforts associated with pregnancy, like back pain, swelling, and fatigue. The recommended exercises for pregnant individuals often include low-impact activities such as walking, prenatal yoga, swimming, gentle movements that allow you to have strength training and flexibility. Pelvic floor exercises like Kegels are particularly benefit because they're going to help strengthen the muscles that are helping to support your uterus, the bladder, and your bowel, enhancing the body's ability to handle the demands of childbirth. And it's essential to follow these guidelines during pregnancy. Listening to your body is key. Avoiding high-risk activities and consulting with a healthcare provider before you modify an exercise routine. And or if it's your first time, depending on where you're at in your exercise journey, maybe this is all new to you. That's when I would definitely bring in a helper, bring in a personal trainer, bring in a coach. Talk to your doctor about doing it so you're just not coming out of the gate with no previous experience. So listen, if you're like, when I was in high school, when I was 18, 10 years ago, I was a track athlete. And so now I'm pregnant and I'm wanting to run. This is I would say there are right steps to taking and ensuring that you develop a strong core, those deep core muscles that we talked about in the exercise section, and how to actually slowly add in, build up your ability to kind of get into it It's not the time to do nothing is the main point. It's not the time to do nothing. Exercise and movement is going to help with your blood sugar regulation. It's going to help with your weight management. It's going to help with reducing aches and pains in your body. So if you're not making it a priority to exercise before your pregnancy, it's a good time to make it a priority now, because it's actually going to make you feel a lot better as you tend to shift and the baby grows and you grow. This is the time for it. And listen, in terms of prenatal care, everybody may experience this on a different level. So in each one of my pregnancies, I foregone, how do I say it? It's in past tense. Each of them, I felt better and better with the process of my body naturally knowing what to do. So I'm speaking to you as a mother and also a friend right now, and also someone who's incredibly empowered and understands the human body and what we're capable of doing. And so take this information with a grain of salt, and also like allowing yourself to like practice your own intuition of what feels good. With my first pregnancy, I wanted all the ultrasounds. I wanted all the checkups. I waited for the checkups because I thought that was my way of connecting with the baby. With the second one, I still was in this regular hospitalized world. I didn't necessarily feel it was that beneficial for me to feel connected to my baby at that point in time, but I went as a checklist. And with my third baby, I didn't do these checkups because I really was leaning in to connecting with my baby on a spiritual level and trusting my body to be doing everything it needed to do. I was no longer concerned with how big my belly was, how much weight I was gaining. I knew everything was going to be perfect. I made sure I meditated and did yoga, and I walked and exercised. I kept myself healthy with all of the principles. I maintained my boundaries, took out anything outside of my world that was causing stress. And I knew that my body was at its best by taking care of myself from the inside out. And so instead of going to those prenatal appointments and running around and feeling tied to the monitors and those like kind of regular checkups, I did something different. I used that time to connect with my baby. And instead of driving to these appointments and talking to physicians, I was just in nature and connecting and feeling into talking and communicating, visualizing and having conversations. And so that entire pregnancy was incredibly different than the standard prenatal care. So whatever it is, your prenatal care may be for you taking in some extra vitamins and nutrients that you know you might not be getting from your diet. That may be your prenatal care. For me, I ended up going like a holistic route and just seeing a energy healer and chiropractor who I knew was really well in tune and dialed in, where we could assess what was going on with my body and my baby and ensure that everything was in the right position. So those were my prenatal care routines. They did change through each one of my births. So I say this to you because I don't feel that there is one set way. And I now know that in making it your own and listening to your own body and trusting your own intuition, you actually gain more power. You gain more insight than relying on the labs, relying on the doctors, relying on the tests. Like, you can find that connection. And also, I really feel that mothers intuitively know. We intuitively know when things are going right and when it's not. And that intuition, building that strength muscle, is so important for the rest of your life. All right, so more about the physical preparation, of course, nutrition, right? At this point in time, you know I'm going to talk to you about nutrition. So yes, we can supplement with folic acid and magnesium and making sure we're getting the iron, or we can make sure we're getting this from the food that we're eating, and which you learned about in the other courses. So a balanced diet is fundamental to prepare for the birth of the baby, because this is how you are getting your nutrients and also your baby. And if you're not getting it through your diet, then guess what? The mother is going to feel completely depleted, because first those nutrients go to the baby. So nutrition needs to change during pregnancy because you're focusing on the baby's development and, of course, the mother. So your key components of pregnancy-friendly diet include the emphasis on getting your vitamins and minerals from fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, and healthy fats. Specific foods rich in iron and omega-3, calcium, and fatty acids are particularly beneficial for maternal health and the fetal development. Consuming foods that provide energy and strength, such as bananas and nuts and complex carbohydrates, can get the body prepared for the best situation for your labor. Hydration is also crucial. Staying well hydrated plays a role in the body's functioning during labor, and proper hydration can help regulate the body temperature, maintain amniotic fluid levels, and support the surges. Drinking enough water, incorporating hydrating foods can also help make sure the body is prepared for childbirth. So pelvic floor is next, and these are the muscles that are all supporting the extra weight in your body. And so pelvic floor health is essential for preparing for childbirth and also helps the healing after childbirth. The pelvic floor muscles support the bladder, the uterus, and the bowel, and strengthening these muscles can lead to better outcomes for delivery. Pelvic floor exercises like your Kegels enhance muscle tone and reduce the risk of complications during labor. In addition to pelvic floor exercises, perineal massage is another practice that can help prepare for delivery. This technique involves gently stretching the perineum to increase the elasticity and to reduce the likelihood of tearing during childbirth. Incorporating perineal massage into the prenatal routine, ideally starting in the third trimester, can contribute to a more comfortable labor experience and aid in postpartum recovery. Okay, so I did a research on doing prenatal or perineum massage, and I don't know how well and how familiar you are with it, but it involves gently massaging, gently pulling down and relaxing. And it's like your yoni is almost getting used to this added pressure. And what I feel, like, I guess it was like a 50-50 of whether it actually helped in preventing tearing, but it's really a hard thing to even measure, right? Like, how do we know if you're not doing the technique and you tore versus if you did the technique and it tore, when no two bodies are the same, right? No two labors are the same. The delivery is not the same. It's really hard to measure anyways. But what I do personally feel after going through multiple labors is understanding the breath and how it ties to the yoni. So how you can prepare is in your third trimester, starting to massage the yoni and actually just learning to breathe when you're feeling a different sensation. So the downward pressure. Now for me, I was too fearful to allow myself to feel the different sensation. And if I would go back, and or if I do in the next future births, I would prepare that way by massaging and allowing myself to get comfortable with syncing my breath to the relaxation of these muscles. So for me, in coaching this exercise, the best thing I could say to do is, whether your partner is doing the massage for you, it can actually bring in a level of intimacy and a trust and connection and communication. But for me, it would just be focused on just relaxing and breathing and kind of getting used to a different sensation, rather than maybe experiencing this for the first time and not knowing what to do with it and or feeling the tension in your body. And so just using perineal massage can support that aspect. And if you can learn how to breathe, actually fully relax, fully surrender when you're feeling the sensation, you are really setting yourself up for a beautiful vaginal birth, where if that's your core intention, if that's what you want to achieve, then this is a nice way to kind of dip your toe in the water, right? I mean, it's not going to be replicating the birth like the full childbirth, but that's okay. It's actually just getting you comfortable with this part of your body and a different sensation in this part of your body, right? All right, so emotional and mental preparation, I feel is I want to say it's everything, but obviously physical plays a really big role, but it's all about the mind. What you're placing in your mind and how you feel emotionally supported is going to determine how you're able to drop into this experience. So if you're in this space of anxiety or fear, this is going to cause your body to hold back, resist, and it will be a lot more painful, a lot more challenging than if you're in this emotional resilience or a place of trust and surrender. So managing fear and anxiety. As expecting parents prepare for childbirth, it's natural to experience a range of fears and anxieties about the process. Common fears include concerns about pain management, the health of the baby, the possibility of complications, the uncertainties about the labor process. Recognizing that these feelings are normal can help individuals understand that they're not alone. Okay. Coping strategies play a crucial role for managing anxiety and fear due to the date as the due date approaches. Techniques like meditation can have a calming effect to reduce your stress. Deep breathing exercises can allow for deep relaxation. Mindfulness encourages being present in the moment, can all help mitigate the worries about the future and allow the expecting mothers to appreciate the journey of pregnancy and prepare with childbirth with a clear mind. Engaging in these practices regularly can build a foundation in emotional well-being that supports the mental health throughout pregnancy and labor. So, my tip for you is if you have any type of fears around labor, around your delivery, around childbirth, to actually voice them out loud, okay? And it's not going to be, you're not voicing this to somebody who's already had a horror story, okay? That's going to be like, oh my gosh, yes. And I have to tell you, I heard a story about so-and-so. We're not doing it to pour more gas on the fire. We're doing it to shine a light into the darkness, okay? So you see the difference in those two analogies. One is shining light into the darkness. So you realize that there's nothing wrong with the darkness, right? And the other one is creating more flames, more heat, more anxiety. And so the purpose behind diving into your fears and anxieties is so you can birth without fear or anxiety, okay? So writing these out and even asking yourself, if I could direct you in these conversations, like you're like, Carly, I am nervous about this. And it might even be subconscious. Like, why is it that you feel like you have to get to the hospital? It would be terrible if you birth the baby at home. Oh, because I don't know what I'm doing? Okay, well, that's a really good concern. So what happens if you don't know what you're doing? I don't know, the baby gets born at home. Okay, so what happens if the baby gets born at home? Well, I don't know what to do. Like, how do I cut the cord? Well, that's a great question. Let's talk about how you would cut the cord, right? Like, maybe you wouldn't cut it. Maybe you could cauterize it. And so how do you cauterize it? Okay, you just take two candles burning at each side and you would cauterize the cord when you're ready. And or, doing whatever. Okay, well, if I'm at my house and I don't make it to the hospital, who would catch the baby? Well, the baby isn't going to be ejected out of your body, so you will have time. You could reach down and get the baby, or your partner could reach down and get the baby. And you have that question is answered, and then you start to have a little bit more understanding and a little bit more clarity. Well, what happens if, and literally going through the anxieties or the fears allows you a chance to get some clarity about what the fear actually is. And once you have like some clarity, like, oh, okay, well, if the baby were to come out at home, that would be fine. I could just cauterize the cord with some candles, That's a different way of looking at it. I never thought like that. Okay. Yeah, I don't actually have any fears now about the baby being ejected out of me. I'll just have my partner grab it. Or I would kind of like that. It's like, would you like to grab your own baby? And it's like, yeah, I would like that. That would be really cool. And it's like, okay, well, you'll just look down and then put your hands there and then hold your baby and bring him right to your chest. And you're going to end up seeing that like labor, birth, delivery, it's such a beautiful time and it's all for yours to have. So if we can move these fears out of the way and allow you just to accept and be ready for any of the possibilities, allows you to actually get rid of the root cause around the fears. And you also are bringing to the surface these little seeds that people placed in your mind, like, oh my gosh, labor is so painful. And then you learn, okay, well, when your body experiences pain, your body also releases 3 times the amount of hormones, like it does say pain, there's 3 times the amount for pleasure. So when our body experiences a little bit of pain, we have 3 times the amount of work sending us to the pleasure zone. So we're getting dosed with oxytocin, we're getting dosed with endorphins. And so every time you experience the sensation of pain, the body will respond and releasing feel-good hormones too for you. And so you're like, oh, that's a good odd. I get more feel-good hormones than I have pain. And you're like, yeah, isn't that amazing? And you learn to trust that, like, if you experience pain, your body is going to respond by also giving you the other side, pleasure on the other side of it. So the more that you allow yourself to ask questions around this, do I need something for pain management? Well, I mean, there's options. So the hospital has come up with some options here, but your body actually naturally makes it. And there's no complications with your body naturally making it. And the more you understand these aspects, you feel a lot more comfortable going into this D-Day, going into it with like confidence and knowing that you can trust your body. All right, so building the emotional resilience. This is cultivating a positive mindset that's essential for building the emotional resilience in the birthing experience. It involves acknowledging any negative thoughts and feelings, reframing them into a more constructive perspective. So viewing labor as a natural process rather than a daunting challenge can empower individuals to embrace experience. Affirmations, visualizations, and focusing on the success can help you in overcoming challenges that can foster confidence and a sense of control. Connecting with support systems, including families and partners and birthing communities, is a key component for that emotional preparation. Open communication with loved ones allows expecting parents to express feelings and share their concerns, which can alleviate the feelings of isolation. Supportive partners can play a vital role in giving reassurance, understanding, while joining birth communities or online or in person can give you a sense of camaraderie with others who are experiencing a similar journey. These connections can enhance the emotional resilience and provide encouragement and strength as parents navigate the complexities of childbirth. This is, I want to say complexities, but it's also really just simplicity. It's both, of course, because there's a lot of things that are happening in your body. But I feel we as a culture have turned this into a complexity and we think that we don't know how to do it. But guess what? It's primal. It is literally a primal aspect. Like, I thought with my first kid, okay, I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm like doing all the research, being proactive, going through all these things. And I would watch a lot of animal births. Like, I literally just watch animal births because I just felt really connected to that primal aspect of myself. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, but like, listen, all these other mammals on the planet are having babies and they're not having to be cut open and it's not complicated. They're just trusting their intuition. They're trusting that their body knows. Like, what makes me any different or less than these animals? I definitely know. I just don't know that I know. I need to be taught that I know. And so the conversations that you're having around childbirth, and make sure you're protecting this space, make sure you're protecting this bubble and having conversations with people who ensures your ability to do it, who builds in more confidence, who tells you, I trust you, I know you got this, you know the way, it's natural, it's in your instincts, you got this. If you're questioning this, then understand this about the body, right? And bringing it back to our physiology, because frankly, we're in a beautiful place where our society has studied childbirth, so we can really understand what's going on. And so if you really understand what's going on in childbirth, like the baby and your body are intuitively working with each other, or your mind can be out of it. Your mind can completely be out of it. And if you can learn that practice by doing this, the meditation, the yoga, the breathwork, the visualizations, the more you're in tune with yourself and getting out of that thinking, worrisome brain, you can drop into the place that you primarily know how to do it. Your baby and your body are doing the work. You just got to get out of your mind. If you can get out of your mind and into your body and just breathe and trust and know that it's all going to be great and you're ready, you are meant for this, then you are going to be well prepared for this event. You are well prepared for this event. Just knowing that you are ready, you know the way, you have the intuition. And even if it's been a long time birthing in between, I've talked with some mothers I was coaching a mom before she went in, and she's like, listen, I've only had a cesarean before. It was 7 years ago. I don't know what I'm doing. So she had already had a baby. And she's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I was like, listen, you know the way. And just this reminder, you know the way, you know how to connect, you know yourself more than anybody on this entire planet. You know this baby more than anybody on the entire planet. Trust that you'll know the way when it comes to bringing this baby into the world. And she did. She knew the way. She labored this baby at her house by herself with her and her partner. And so whatever your decision is, however you decide to labor, just leaning into your own trust, your own intuition, your own ability, because that is going to be key. Birth expectations and flexibility. And so every birth experience is unique, and the labor can unfold differently for every person. And it's influenced by various factors such as individual circumstances, medical conditions, the baby's position. So embracing the idea that no two births are the same, expectant mothers can reduce the pressure to conform to specific expectations and prepare themselves for the unexpected. Keep your mind open to both different birth outcomes. It's essential for having some flexibility, and this approach allows individuals to remain adaptable and responsive to the evolving situation. Setting realistic goals for labor while also preparing with potential changes such as the need for medical interventions or a different experience than initially planned can help alleviate stress and enhance the emotional preparedness. Ultimately, embracing this flexibility allows parents to focus on the birth of their child rather than being fixated on a specific vision, which could give you a more fulfilling and positive birth. So think about where the rigidity in your birth plan makes sense, right? There might be like, I have to have my spouse with me. I want my spouse present. And maybe that's a rigidity that you don't let go of. Also know that in having a preference about your birth, in having information, really, that's key, right? So, it would be great if you're birthing your baby, maybe you're with a midwife and you find out the baby is in a breech position. Here are the challenges with having a breech baby vaginally, naturally, without medication. It could be more challenging for the mother. It could be more painful for the mother. The baby's not in an ideal position. So it could put more different pain and sensation, because that's not the normal process, or I should say not even normal, because what is normal in birth? But maybe ideal is a better word. But babies get born all the time, breech. So here are the risks, and here's the risk of doing a cesarean, and which one feels more in aligned with your vision. And so you're always making your decisions with time. Hopefully you're taking that time to take a pause, breathe, ask for some time, and carefully consider your decision. What challenges come with healing from a C-section? What challenges come with your body after a cesarean? How long does that recovery look like? Do you have the support at home to allow yourself to recover properly after this major surgery? Also, what are the true complications for the mother and baby in a cesarean? Okay, now let's look at a vaginal birth where the baby is born breech. What are the main concerns? What are the chances of that happening? Can women and babies successfully have a breech birth? Okay, now you're making an informed decision from both of the complications, from both of the chances, instead of making a decision from one-sided. I know women that have done it either way, right? Okay, well, because it was breached, the physician didn't feel comfortable. If the physician doesn't feel comfortable delivering a breech baby and it's still your desire to have the baby vaginally, naturally breech, then you can ask for a different attending physician. You can ask for a different support system. And so just know you have choices, and you can say, what are all my choices for me to consider? What are all my choices? I don't want one of them. I don't want which way you would suggest. I want all of the choices, and then I want space to decide what I want to do. Okay. So just something to keep in mind as labor comes. Birth plans and options And I don't know how far along or if you've heard of birth plans, but this is a document that outlines your preferences and wishes for your childbirth experience. The purpose is to communicate important details to your healthcare provider, ensuring that your patient's desires are understood and expected during the delivery. A well-crafted birth plan serves as a guide, and the care team can facilitate the decisions. Key components of a birth plan include pain management preferences, desired birthing positions, choices regarding medical interventions. So, a patient or parent may specify that their preferred methods for managing pain is using breath techniques, aromatherapy, or medication. Additionally, outlining the preferred birthing positions, whether it's upright, on fours, or in water, can empower parents to take an active role in their labor experience. It's also essential to address possible interventions, such as the use of an episiotomy or an induction, to express preferences regarding newborn care like skin-to-skin contact and breastfeeding. So I have to say that I spent quite a bit of time making a birth plan, thinking that because I had a birth plan, I wouldn't need to communicate the birth plan. And so think of your birth plan as your template when you are about to make decisions, right? Like in my birth plan, I want to use aromatherapy, breath work, natural remedies to manage the surges. And I want my room to be quiet, and I want it to have dim lighting, and I want to have soft music, and I don't really want to be bombarded by doctors and students and interns. I want it to be really quiet and intimate. So if you come in with a team of 3 people, I'm going to ask that they leave, and only the person who needs to be in there, like one doctor or one nurse, can come into my room at a time. And this is just supporting yourself in your birth. This is giving you that voice and a reference point of it's not just because I posted it, I put it on my door. You can do that. You can put your preference on out the door. And then when that preference is ignored or not seen or not taking in, we're going back to the boundary setting, right? Like I posted my birth preferences. I don't want more than one physician in here. Would you please leave if you need to check in on vitals or anything? You can come in after the doctor leaves. It's overwhelming for me to have more than 2 people in the room at a time. I really don't want this attending nurse to be with you right now. You're literally just communicating that need so you can have exactly the thing that you want and need at that time. And it gives you a easy way to kind of reflect back onto it. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, check in with your birth plan for yourself. Go, why am I overwhelmed right now? And you're looking and you're like, they just went and turned on the lights. I'm feeling overstimulated by this. And you're like, can you turn the light back on? Or you're just conveying this to your partner. Birth plan. Refer to my birth plan. It's lit. It's light in here. Refer to my birth plan. Like, I want it quiet. I want gentle music. I don't want extra people in the room. No, thank you. And knowing, okay, I want to be able to get into different birth positions. As soon as we enter into the world of medical interventions, this takes that off the table. So realize when you say yes to an epidural, that takes out usually the opportunity to be able to birth on all fours, the opportunity to get up and go to the bath if you want some warm tub or a cold tub. That takes out the opportunity to be able to be on your feet rocking and moving this baby along. That takes out the opportunity. So just know that this birth plan is for you, so you can use little images, and then also it's yours to reference, and it's also yours to implement. And one of the things that was so helpful for me in my second birth was that I had a doula there who had my birth preferences, who helped stick to it. That's all she did, was stick to the birth plan. And she would remind the physicians and nurses, she would like some space. She would like it to be quiet. She would like one of you in here at a time. She would like some space. She would like some time to make a decision. All she was doing was reminding them of the birth plan that they all had a copy of that they were not following up on. So having someone that you know, like, and trust to help support you so you don't have to think about it, you can just be birthing. And everybody else can handle what everything else is happening around you. Like I was like, I'm going inward to practice birthing. You guys do the rest of the stuff that you need to do by writing numbers on papers and coming in and out and doing whatever else they're doing. I was just really focused on me. And that's what made that labor process really sacred time for me to connect with myself and be able to stay in my calm, is like letting all that other stuff go. So creating this birth plan involves reflecting on your personal values. How important is it for you to have your partner in the room? How important is it for you to not use medication throughout this pregnancy? Does that matter to you? Do you know the risks of these drugs on your baby? Are you okay with those risks? And are you okay with the fact that when you say yes to this medication, it does maybe cross out or mitigate some of the other choices, some of the other things that you wish to have in your pregnancy? And if you have a good awareness and understanding of like, okay, yes, I said yes to Pitocin and now I'm getting an epidural, so now I also can't labor on all fours, so I may have more pain, so now I might need a cesarean because the pain is too much, or it can kind of trickle into the next thing. So just being aware of what you're saying yes to. Yes, it's okay if you break my waters, because if that happens and you break my waters and it doesn't work, now what happens? What are my chances of increased infection? What is my chance now that you broke my waters? Now, do I have to stay on Pitocin? Now, do I have to stay in the hospital? Because I think I'm ready to go home, right? Like, I'm speaking from different experiences that I've had in which I didn't have the idea of what was going to be happening to me when I agreed to some of the interventions. I ended up getting myself to a point where I couldn't say no to the interventions anymore because it was too far gone. They did too many that was going to cause too many risks. And then I was left deeply saddened by that experience. So just thinking about how these decisions in your birth plan can impact the future aspects of your birth plan, where mine eventually was like, oh yeah, it's a dead certain my partner's going to be with me. But after it was a yes to this Pitocin because you wanted to speed it up, because it was a yes to the water, breaking the waters, then that read to a yes to laboring. Now, no, you can't go home. Now, yes, emergency C-section, and no, your partner can't be in there. And so it led to, and then no skin contact, and then no. So the entire process, it kind of cascaded. So I say this to you so you can make an informed decision and saying, if I were to do the Pitocin, which you are suggesting at this point in time, would I still be able to labor in the way that I wanted to on all fours? And then they would say, yes, you can labor on all fours. And you say, will I then need to have constant fetal monitoring? Does that mean I can no longer get into the bath or use a warm tub for my comfort? And they go, okay, well, yes, because we have to constantly monitor you, so you can't get in the bathtub anymore. And so you can then decide, well, I really want to use water as therapy to help me move through positions. I think it would feel good to me, so I don't want to go through with that right now. And giving yourself time to think about it. All right, so let's talk about the different birthing environments you get to choose from. Oh my gosh, so many choices. And also, maybe, who knows, on your way to the hospital or the birthing center, it might just happen in your car and you might not even have to think about it, right? Or it might be like me. I stood up from the bathroom and I end up birthing him on a toilet. So you can have ideas about what's going to happen, but like picking on what feels good to your nervous system. So I just want you to like kind of, even you can close your eyes and listen to the experience and see what one makes you feel like really relaxed, really comfortable, really peaceful, like, and then you kind of start to envision it. You feel like this spark, you feel relaxed, you feel like this feels good to you. Okay, hospital births. The pros: hospitals typically give immediate access to advanced medical care, a range of pain management options, which can be reassuring for patients with high-risk pregnancies, and they're equipped to handle emergencies and complications, ensuring that both the mother and baby receive prompt medical attention if needed. The cons could be sometimes less personal, with policies and protocols that limit certain preferences. For instance, the ability for interventions such as continuous fetal monitoring can restrict movement during labor. So feel into that in your body. Do the pros outweigh the cons? How does that feel to have that person looking over you and having somebody to respond to an emergency if by chance something were needed in this event? Next, a home birth. The pro home births allow for more intimate and personalized environment, giving parents greater control over the birthing experience. The setting can promote comfortable and relaxation, contributing to a positive emotional experience. Additionally, home births often encourage more hands-off approach from medical professionals supporting labor. The cons: home births may pose challenges in case of emergencies or complications, such as immediate medical intervention. It may not be readily available. Parents must ensure that they're under the care of qualified providers and discuss plans for transferring to a hospital if necessary. So breathing into that space, how does that feel to be able to birth at your home, knowing the cons of if anything were to happen, getting to a facility that would be able to help you if needed. Birthing centers. The pros: birthing centers offer a balance between the medical support of a hospital and intimate setting of a home birth. These facilities typically provide a comfortable home-like environment with access to midwives and necessary medical interventions. Many birthing centers emphasize natural childbirth and may offer amenities such as birthing tubs and personalized support. The cons: while birthing centers can give a supportive atmosphere, they may not be equipped for high-risk pregnancies or complications, potentially necessitating a transfer to a hospital during labor. So feel into that. And like, if I'm trusting my intuition, and what I wish I would have done is just like felt like what one feels good to me, not thinks good to me, because the thoughts can just like go rampant, and they're probably already going rampant with like all people's stories and ideas and projections. But like, which one feels good in your body that actually gives you a sense of peace? Personally, I didn't jive with being in hospitals since I was a really young kid, but that doesn't mean that that's your experience. And if you would rather have the support of this backup in case an emergency were to happen, then that actually may be the place where you're able to rest more or better than your home, because your home, you don't have that support. So think about where you feel the most able to rest, because that's actually what I would call your delivery, is deepening into your restfulness. Where do you feel you could fully sink in to restfulness, to peace, to calm, to tranquility? Because that is the birth experience that you're capable of, that we all get to experience, is how do I deepen into peace, serenity, love, blissfulness, oxytocin high, love, comforts. That's which choice you want to lean into and start to call and ask questions. All right, so even the word here, our society has gotten so hyper-focused on this, pain management. You'll hear it a lot. What's your pain level? I worked in hospitals for years. So the question, there was like a chart, and you see the faces like, I'm like, what's your pain level? And pain has been made out to be a terrible thing. And if you can learn, and you want to learn, that pain is actually incredibly helpful for our bodies, because it responds by giving us the natural highs, and all the pain relief that we need is made in our body. What is your relationship to pain? Because we don't need to manage any of it, right? Pain management is the funniest thing, because our body actually already knows how to do it. So what is your relationship with pain? And are you willing to look at pain as just a sensation in your body? If so, this natural pain relief may be the way for you. If you don't want to dive into the deep psyche of this pain management, and you're freaked out by it, scared of it, you don't want to experience it, you don't think you can, then this medical pain relief may be the option for you. And so I just want to talk about that because I know personally I did not have a good experience with pain. I did not understand the beauty in pain. It wasn't even until this last entire year that I understand that pain is incredibly beautiful. It's incredibly helpful. It is incredibly healing. And we don't need to be scared of pain. We really don't. So if you're willing to do the work and dive into the deep seeds and start to recognize any type of pain you have in your body as a sensation, it's just a feeling. It's like today I was out gardening and I scratched my finger here and it's a thorn that just gouged my hand, and the thorn has venom in it. And so it's like this stinging, this deep like stinging, and it feels like a little bit like fire, and it feels like hot, like fire. And that's really the sensation I'm feeling. Pain feels scary because I don't understand it, I don't know it. But if I focus on the sensation of it, feels like it's like hot and it's kind of like a tingly around it, and that's it, hot and tingly. Okay, it's a sensation, okay? And we know the body's going to respond with a different sensation. And so natural techniques can help you manage the discomfort or the sensations throughout your delivery without the use of medication. Common methods include breathing techniques, focusing on controlled breathing to promote relaxation, massage, physical comfort. Remember when we talked about that bonding, the release of oxytocin with bonding? So like getting that physical touch, holding your partner. Oh my gosh, one of my favorites was I was dancing with my husband and we were rocking hand in hand like this, and he had his forehead to mine and I had his to his like this, and we were rocking and we were looking each other's eyes, and I was like an 8. I was getting close, and I was just like in my euphoric high, like just like smiling with him. And then I'd have a surge come in. It was just like this wave, and we were head to head connected, rocking like that, dancing. And then when we'd have a surge, we'd just squat down and low squat together, hand in hand, and we breathe out and we just relax, and then we'd get through that one, and it was like, oh, that was an intense surge, and we'd stand back up and we'd rock and we'd rock and we rock. And this moment was so beautiful for me, releasing those endorphins, that natural high, the oxytocin. And so that physical comfort can be really healing for you in this process. Other things you can do, water baths, so warm water. There's times that I loved warm water, and there's times I was overly hot and I wanted cold water. I wanted cold on my body. And so having the option between hot and cold can be great, and give you an option for natural pain relief, aromatherapy, so making sure you're using your lavenders, relaxing the body, soothe music, relaxing the face, the jaw, as the yoni responds like our face does, right? Like our mouth does. So we talked about this, the horse breathing, like relaxing your jaw, relaxing your lips, and seeing kissing. Kissing is so helpful. If you will just kiss your partner, kiss your honey during labor, this can like bring in some relief. So maybe it's not during the peak of a surge, maybe it's at the downside, and just like allowing like kissing or gentle touching to like be your relief. Like think of how this is helping improve the oxytocin in your body and release the stress hormone. We're not even going to be holding space for it because we're really just staying in that bliss. All right, so the other option is medical pain relief. See, in our society, we have so many options. For someone seeking pain relief outside of yourself, medical options are available, including epidurals and medications. Epidurals give significant pain relief by blocking nerve sensation in the lower body, allowing parents to remain alert and involved during labor. Other medications, such as opioids, may be offered to help manage pain. So it's important to discuss the benefits and risk of these options with a healthcare provider and make an informed decision. So one of the births that I actually never had was a epidural, a vaginal birth epidural. I've never really experienced that, so I can't speak from experience, but I did have a epidural where I'm very sensitive to medications, and so I was then, after the epidural, numb from my shoulders down. And so I didn't feel with the pain medication that I was able to do much of anything or participate in any way. So, maybe ensuring or asking these questions, like, I really want to be able to feel, the sensation of labor. Like, is there a way to dial back? I don't know. Ask these questions. Every doctor, facilitating doctor, whoever's there at your labor is going to have their own way. And so you can, like, put your toe in the water, ask the question, put in your specific request. It's like you're building your own smoothie here. Like, you can allow yourself, as long as there's no complications with yourself and the baby, allow yourself to ask the questions and be in the world of play. Like, this might be a really stupid question, but like, can I take the edge off with something, but like still actually feel sensations of the labor? I think to me that would be kind of cool. I don't know. I've only ever fully felt all the sensations, and then I've fully felt none of the sensations. So I don't really know what it would be like between the worlds, but like, this is a question, right? Like, if you're like afraid of the pain, maybe you don't want to feel any of it. Maybe you want, like, the experience of somebody just flopping your legs up and handing you a baby is a better experience for you. But I encourage you to look at the risks, complications, and how that impacts your baby with this medication. That's what I would encourage you to do, is just ask those questions. And non-medical interventions. So hypnotherapy, acupuncture can give effective pain relief and promote relaxation and mental focus. Hypnobirthing involves using visualization and positive affirmations to manage discomfort and reduce anxiety. Acupuncture puts pressure on specific points in the body and can alleviate pain and promote relaxation during labor. I personally have also never done acupuncture through a labor, so I'm not sure how that all works, but it's something to look into as alternative ways. Hypnobirthing is amazing, just learning the techniques of visualization, and there's nothing you can lose by doing that. And the more you connect with this process of hypnobirthing beforehand, the better you're going to feel at practicing it on your delivery day. All right, so you can download a birth plan if you go to the downloadable PDF birth plan in the resources section below this video. Next is partner support system and preparation. So involving your partner or birth companion. The presence of supportive birth partner and companion in your labor and delivery can make a significant difference in the overall birthing experience. Their role extends beyond just being present. They actively contribute to both the emotional and physical aspects of the birthing process. During labor, partners can assist with words of encouragement, providing comfort, helping the birthing parent stay focused and calm. They also act as an advocate, communicating with the medical staff to ensure the birth plan is respected and that the birthing parent's needs are met. Physically, partners can involve them in supporting them with various labor positions, helping with breathing techniques, or applying massage or counter pressure to relieve discomfort. They also can assist in practical ways, such as keeping the environment calm and comfortable, offering snacks or water, helping the birthing person move or adjust. Being emotionally present, patient, and encouraging the one is the most crucial aspect of the role. The birthing person may need to be continuously reassured, especially during the challenging moments of labor. Preparing your partner or birth companion ahead of time can include attending childbirth preparation class together, practicing pain relief techniques, and discussing what kind of support is the most helpful. The preparation can foster a deep sense of connection and confidence, ensuring that the partner is well prepared to offer meaningful support. Through my third birth, second and third, I really wanted that person available, my birthing coach, my doula, to actually give support to my husband, because I felt like, I don't know if I'm going to be a nice human when I'm birthing. I have no idea. And I just wanted somebody to be there with him so I could kind of go into my own like void, I guess. And so for me, it was like me wanting to take care of him still throughout my birth, my labor. So think about that. Like, I don't know how things are going to come across, or if I communicate roughly, or if I sound crabby or grouchy. You have to think, like, when we're sick, like when we're kind of sick, we kind of maybe snappy or short, or the word might come out straight to the point, and maybe you have a tendency to like offer a little bit more fluff around situations, but you kind of lose that tact when you're birthing. That might happen. That happened for me, where I was like, somebody could talk to me and I would be like just ignoring them because I didn't feel like I had the energy to respond to them. And then when I did respond, it was like, yes, you know, because I was just like focused on doing my thing. I'm not worried about how it's going to be perceived or how, you know, it's going to impact all their emotions and stuff, because I just needed to be there for myself. So having these kind of conversations with your partner of like, check in on me, make sure I'm drinking water, because you might go into a world where you don't think that you need it or you're fine and then you're dehydrated, right? So make sure I'm drinking water. Offer me a snack. If I say no, I mean no. Unless it's been like 5 hours, then tell me I need to eat. You know, ask me questions. Do you need to lay down? Would you like to rest? Lay on your side. Put a peanut ball in between my legs. You know, can you be available for me in the way I want you to? Meaning, I don't want you distracted on your phone. I want you to just sit there and be with me and just listen and encourage me if it feels really good when you encourage me. So just like, what would it feel good to you? I don't even want to like put this in your mind in a way, but it's like, what would you feel good if like you were sick or not feeling your best, right? It's like, I would really want somebody to be next to me, like petting my hair. I seem to really like that. It's like, okay, so petting the hair. But if you start to pet my hair and I don't like it when it comes to time, don't be upset. And they're like, okay, I got it. Pet your hair, but also stop if you say stop. Like, it's so simple, but it's just communicating our needs. It's about communicating our needs and allowing this time to be a chance for you to just communicate all of your needs. I need water. I want hot. I want cold. I want pressure. I don't want pressure. I want a massage my head, kiss my face, you know, like just saying the things that you want to help you relax. And even talking about it before, that allows him to have like a list of like, these are the things I could do to her when she's like at the peak of a surge, or maybe she won't like it then, but I can try it when she's relaxing. Like, oh, you did so good. You did so good. And now I'm going to rub your massage your shoulders. You're doing amazing. Oh my gosh, it's coming. It's happening. Your body is bringing this baby in. You know exactly what to do. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much. You know, and reminding you, taking that breath with you. And you can just hear that cue of someone breathing to help keep you calm when you're moving through the surges. All right, choosing a doula or a midwife. The decision to involve a doula or a midwife in the birthing experience can add a valuable layer of support and expertise. A doula is a trained professional who provides non-medical, physical, or emotional support during the labor, birth, and sometimes postpartum. Their role includes helping the birthing person stay focused, providing comfort measures like massage or breathing techniques, or other emotional reassurance. Research has shown that having a doula can lead to shorter labors, lower rates of medical interventions, and overall more positive birth experience. 80% of people who hire a doula end up having a natural vaginal birth. 80%. Those numbers are astounding. So just teaching you you're safe, trust with your body, breathing. Oh my gosh, they got little tricks. The Robozo is amazing. Just taking like a blanket or sheet on your belly and just giving you a little shimmy, taking the pressure off your lower back. Doing this throughout your pregnancy is really helpful as well. A midwife, on the other hand, is a trained healthcare professional who provides medical care during your pregnancy, labor, and birth, focusing on more holistic and natural approach to childbirth. Midwives are skilled at managing low-risk pregnancies and can deliver babies in hospitals, birthing centers, or at home, depending on their certification and the person's preferences. When choosing a doula or midwife, it's important to find someone who aligns with your values and mission for your birth plan. You can start by asking for recommendations from your healthcare provider or seeking out certified professionals through local or national doula and midwife associations. Scheduling interviews or consultations with potential candidates allows you to ask questions about their experience, their philosophies, and how they handle different labor situations. Ultimately, finding the right support person is about feeling comfortable, confident, and trusting that they will honor your birth preferences while providing you with the support you needed. So I had experienced this where I ended up saying yes and going with a midwife who I felt didn't really have the answers that I wanted to, which I didn't even know to ask the question until later in my pregnancy. And so know that you might start on the path with somebody who feels in alignment to what you have information about to a certain point in your pregnancy. So for me, I was 20 weeks pregnant. I really wanted that midwife to be on board. And then I really didn't like the the post care and expectations for afterwards. It didn't feel good to me. And then I also didn't like the expectation of my due date. Like, you have until this day, otherwise I have to refer you out to a hospital. And so that didn't feel good to me. So I ended up shifting my plan, 20 weeks through my pregnancy. So depending where you're at, you can always make a change to your birth plan. You don't have to stay with this person, as you now might be exposed to new information. Like, this is interesting. I've been kind of following along with this course, and I've thought about some different aspects that really feel like resonate with me better. How do you handle this, doctor? And know that the doctor doing your prenatal care, unless you are scheduling an emergency unless you are planning a date on a calendar, you're choosing the child's birthday on a calendar, then there's no guarantee that they're even going to be present at your birthday. So, or I should say your birthing day. And so making sure that you have an idea through your birth plan is really the key, and making sure that your support system, like your maybe potentially doula or birth coach, and or your partner, your support system, all know your plan to help have those communication with the medical staff if that's the route you're going. Support network readiness. Preparing for childbirth involves not only the people who are present during the labor, but also those who provide support after the baby is born. Family and friends can play an essential role in assisting the new parents during this postpartum period, which can be both physically, mentally, and emotionally demanding. Before the baby arrives, consider how your support network can help with daily tasks, preparing meals, cleaning your house, running errands so you can focus on bonding with your newborn, and recovering. Loved ones can also provide emotional support, listening to your concerns, and offering encouragement during the transition to parenthood. Having a designated group of people you trust who can step in when needed can ease the pressure of both parents and create a more positive postpartum experience. It's a good idea to communicate your specific needs with your support network before the birth, whether it's arranging someone to help with older children, setting up a meal train, organizing visits with family and friends in a way that respects your recovery and bonding time with a baby. Encouraging your support system to be flexible and understanding, especially in the time that you need space to adjust, will ensure that the contributions are truly beneficial. So, think of this as like you can have it your way. Like you can have it your way. And you don't need to carry the guilt or ideals of anybody else. What you need to carry is consideration of what would be best for yourself, what would be best for your partnership, what would be best for your healing. And if you are a people pleaser, this is not the time to host everybody at your house, because it's going to be way too hard for you to consider what everybody needs. You are going to have to put yourself in a silo and turn your cell phone off. Like literally let your partner answer the texts, let your partner answer the calls, so you don't have to tend to any of that business until, ideally after your 4th trimester. That's the ideal situation, preferably, I would say. This is a time that I just sat with my baby and read books and allowed myself to heal. And any text messages, phone calls, pictures, anything that anybody needed was all for my husband to take on. And we had a meal train set up where people were dropping off food. They could sign up every other day. And when we didn't have people signed up for the meal train, I asked my husband to send out messages. And I had a list of people who offered to bring meals that he could text. I said, would you please text this person? Would you please text this person? They said that they would be able to come and help. And so that way he could be focused on taking care of the 4 children. I could be focused on taking care of myself and healing. And then it took some of the weight and pressure off of him to know that there were people there to help at least bring us a meal. And then he had a little less on his plate. So think of how that could be helpful. Could you do the laundry? Could you help me bring my mattress from upstairs downstairs so I can just stay on one level to heal? Would you bring me a meal and not stay? Could you just drop it off at the front door? I'm going to be resting. I don't want to put clothes on. I don't want to put a top on. I'm doing skin-to-skin contact as much as possible. And I'm not ready to host people yet. I'm just going to allow myself 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 6 weeks. Please give yourself the time to recover. It is the one time in your life you can do this. Take advantage of it and really get to know yourself, your baby, every bit of their cries, every bit of their sounds. And it is an art. At first, it might not make sense to you, but after you start to observe your baby, you will know it. You will know it. It's so beautiful. All right, education and classes. So there is a support network readiness. Childbirth classes are available for expecting parents, providing knowledge, practical skills, prepare for labor and delivery, and early postpartum care. And the various types of classes are available, offering different approach to childbirth. So Lomaz focuses on the breathing techniques and relaxation, coping strategies for labor, and helping parents feel more in control of their birth. The Bradley method emphasizes on natural childbirth with an active involvement in the partner or coach, teaching pain management techniques, nutrition, and preparation for birth. Hypnobirthing uses self-hypnosis, deep relaxation, visualization to manage pain and reduce anxiety, promoting calm and positive birth experience. These classes typically cover a range of topics from the stages of labor to pain relief options and what to expect during delivery. Attending childbirth classes can help alleviate fears, boost confidence, and offer tips for the birthing person and the support team. So I would have to say I have attended each one of these and they are amazing. It is so helpful to have this confidence going into it, just focusing on all of the natural healing in our body and just giving you confidence, whether you decide to go and maybe at the end of the day, you're like, I ended up getting an epidural, but like, listen, you practiced a lot of these techniques and allowed yourself to experience labor. One of the ladies I supported was dilated to a 9, a 9. So to me, it's humorous in a way because she already gave birth. Like the 10 is just like the last. It's like running a marathon and then seeing the tape of the finish line and then saying like, can I get a wheelchair, right? And like wheeling in because she already did all the work. She was already there. And she's like, yes, but it was just too intense. So I got an epidural while she was dilated to a 9. And I had to laugh. It was so sweet because I was like, well, you did it. You know, it was just you were just like maybe 4 breaths away from this natural birth. And so I don't know if you're as passionate about natural birthing as I am. I'm only on the high because I got to experience it. And it's so beautiful to really fully feel what we're capable of doing. And you cross through this gateway or it's like graduating to like level 20. Like, I don't know if you play video games. It's like you've reached the level, like you've done it. You cross into this arena where you feel so competent and capable as a human being to do anything. You're like, I just birthed the baby. I can do anything. And there's times after each one of my births where I'm like, yeah, of course I can do that. I just labored a 9-pound baby on my own. Of course I can do that. It's so empowering. It is literally the craziest thing you could ever experience. And then to feel like you're capable of doing anything because you've been able to labor your baby and your body knew exactly what to do and you knew to trust. And it's just this huge like fireworks show. Like you've done it. You've done it. There's nothing better. All right, so classes to prep for after birth. So there's breastfeeding classes. Let's talk about this time. They're designed to help educate expecting parents about the fundamentals of breastfeeding, making early days with a newborn more manageable. These classes cover topics like proper latching techniques, feeding positions, how to recognize hunger cues in the baby, and also give guidance on common breastfeeding challenges such as nipple pain, low milk supply, and offer solutions for overcoming them. Additionally, these classes emphasize on the importance of skin-to-skin contact immediately after birth and encourage successful breastfeeding by helping regulate the baby's temperature, heart rate, and promote bonding. Learning about breastfeeding ahead of time prepares parents for the important aspect of newborn care and helps them feeling confident to promote or provide their baby with optimal nutrition. So the breast is best. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. And there's different reasons for different mothers around the world deciding not to breastfeed. And if your belief is or your fear is that you're not going to have enough milk, you can just knock that one out of the park. It's not true. You're going to have enough milk. Your milk might not come in right away, which is completely normal. And it might not come in on the second day, which is completely normal. And your baby is going to be fine. They're born with extra pudge for a reason. And so giving your baby the breast, still allowing them time to suckle, still giving them all the time skin to skin, just spending more time naked, baby on your chest so they can feel that, so they can suckle, so they can start to promote that. And we have this kick in of our prolactin and we end up making milk. It's going to happen. It's natural. Your body knows how to do it. And I experienced this lull with my first child and I was like, well, I don't have milk. Why I don't have milk? The baby's here and I don't have milk. And I remember worrying about it, and stress is going to kill that, right? So just know that it's coming. Know that it's coming. And your baby's going to get milk exactly when the baby needs milk. So the third day, my doctor at the time came to check and was like, no, you're not making milk, so we want to give the baby a bottle. And at the time, I actually had my mother in the room, and she said, no, I will hold the baby, I will rock the baby is fine, but we're not giving the baby a bottle. It's going to come in. And that night, my breasts swelled up to D's. I don't have D's. I have A's, and they were like D's, and they were so full of milk. My breasts were just squirting milk. If I removed my cloth from my breast, it was just squirting milk. There was so much milk, abundance. And so know that your milk will come in. And the more you spend that time with the baby on your chest and allowing the baby to pet and rub, it's all actually nature. It's all what's going to do to actually help bring in more of that. So allowing the baby to rub your chest, to like bring that in, is helping with that bonding. And even in that postpartum time, bringing the baby up to your belly button and letting the baby actually crawl. You will see this. If you set that baby on your belly and just let them crawl to your nipple, there is a change in the color of your areola. And this is helpful because the baby then knows to crawl up to it. It will worm its way until it finds it, and it will naturally latch. And so your goal is to make sure the lips are wide and that the tongue is down and they're latching and they're sucking, not biting. And so you're just establishing that routine from the front, but just watching how the baby can naturally worm his way up your body and latch. It is so beautiful. And the nutrients that your milk carries is the best thing for your baby. And what's so interesting is the more I learned about nursing, the more I learned about how their saliva is actually giving this feedback to the nipple, and then the nipple is then taking in this information and then giving the nutrients what this baby needs for their ideal health. So when your baby is sick, has a virus, anything, the best thing you can do is attach it to your body, because then your body is going to give you the baby exactly what it needs to heal. It is an incredible system that goes back and forth both ways. So spending as much time as you can with your top off, allowing yourself to have full skin-to-skin contact, having your baby be naked on your body, regulating your temperature, increasing bonding, increasing the serotonin, this dopamine, this oxytocin release is so amazing. Infant care classes. So these are focused on teaching new parents the skills to take care of a newborn. So it can include bathing, how to safely and comfortably bathe a newborn, diapering, proper techniques, how to avoid diaper rash, soothing techniques, methods for comforting a fussy baby, such as swaddling or rocking and using white noise. And these can all help. There's also classes that help teach the risk of reducing SIDS and how to understand the difference between newborn issues like colic. It's interesting because I actually experienced colic with my first baby, and it wasn't until I did all the research and then found that my baby was overstimulated, because I was a new parent and I was trying to do things with my baby. The baby needed more rest, needed more quiet, needed less shifting in environments. And then B, my baby was incredibly gassy from the foods that I was eating. So I was having a dairy, at that time it was protein powder, which was whey. And I knew before then that I naturally kind of always swelled up or was more bloated when I had whey. And I didn't consider afterwards, because it was really easy for me to make a smoothie. So I'd have a smoothie every day as a meal, and that kind of took the pressure off myself to try to think about what to make or eat or whatever. And the baby was so uncomfortable. So after doing tons and hundreds of hours, what is wrong with this baby? He's crying all day, he can't sleep, he's so uncomfortable. I can see him whirling around, and no matter how many bicycles I do and leg pumps and belly massages, it's not working. And once I dropped out those dairy products, this baby was really calm. And so I knew to do that with my other two children. So I go into nutrition advice of why we keep those dairy products out of our body, out of our household, because naturally everybody has a sensitivity to it. We're not used to breaking down casein, which is the protein that we don't make. We're not meant to have other people's milk. So just being mindful about what you're eating, what you're putting into your body could be impacting your baby, right? Obviously, this goes back to nutrition. So, and then understand your relationship with crying. This was a really big deal for me, and understanding that unless the baby is all its needs met, sometimes a baby will just cry to allow themselves to drop into that parasympathetic nervous system. And so for me, crying was really discouraged as a kid. It was told to stop, shut it up, what's wrong with you? Shh, it was shushed. And so I actually found with my third kid that when all of the baby's needs were met, the baby was cared for, he was close to mom, it was clean diaper, he was fed. Sometimes the crying was just to release and to like let go of things that the baby stored up throughout the day. So the loud noise, the brother in the face, chatting, people touching him, he was just feeling this overstimulation and needed to release and cry. And so I just hold that baby and look him in the eyes and not distract him, but like give him comfort. Just say, I love you, I love you. And that baby would look at me and like, wah! And then look at me in the eyes and and then just rest. And so I have resources and books that I can share with you that help you step into it or know your plan of what to do when the baby is crying. How are you going to handle that? And how do you regulate your nervous system when a baby is crying? Because your nervous system is everything. You guys are going to feed off of each other. So if you genuinely feel really stressed by the crying, then it's important to really nail this one down. Preparing the home for the baby's arrival. So stocking up supplies in the weeks leading up to your due date. You can stock up on your postpartum recovery items and baby supplies. So for yourself, think about the comfort and recovery process. Large sanitary pads, comfortable nursing bras, loose fitting clothing, and pain relief medications, ointments are essential for your healing. You'll also want to invest in sitz bath or a peri bottle to avoid recovery or to aid in recovery of vaginal delivery. For the baby, ensure you have plenty of feeding supplies, whether you plan to breastfeed or formula feed. This could include bottles, nursing pads, breast pumps, formulas, supplements if needed. Don't forget hygiene products like baby shampoo, nail clippers, and soft brush. Having a well-stocked supplies will make this transition much smoother. So I have to say that most people are overstocking. Like, we live in the world where we're consumers, right? And it feels really good to buy because we think we're more prepared. But babies need so little. So for myself, if I could give my own personal list of like your must-haves for mothers, it would be this, a peri bottle. It's amazing to not have to wipe, but to be able to like squirt afterwards. And a sitz bath also gives a lot of relief, healing your vagina afterwards and giving some comfort. Ice padsicles are amazing. So just taking a organic cotton pad and putting a little water, aloe vera on it, and putting those in the freezer is amazing for healing afterwards. Witch hazel pads were essential for me. And with my second baby, loved the Depends to be able to slip those on and not have to worry about any kind of leakage. But with the third baby, I also just bought like the package of the hospital cotton brief underwear. And then I actually put in the organic hemp baby diapering inserts, and those were the most comfortable on my yoni, the most easy to change. That was what kind of led me through my whole healing process, just having these comfortable stretchy underwear on with that I could dispose afterwards, and then just having a soft comfortable baby diaper insert in there. And the essentials for the baby, even like having a ton of clothes and onesies and wraps and all that stuff, that's really not needed either. If you're really going to be spending a lot of time holding this baby and having the skin to skin contact, Obviously, if you can't do that or it's not in your plan, then you're going to need to have all the fuzzy stuff wrapped up, all the things. But as much as you can, keep that baby on your skin, on your chest, and give yourself both that moment of bonding, because there is a lot going on with your hormones in this time. And there's a lot of a transition for your baby into this world. So what they need is to feel you, literally, is just to feel your heartbeat, hear your voice, feel yourself, because that's all they know. That's all they know is home. So, hygiene products for babies, it literally, if you're not going to go the route of breast pumping and doing all that, I have actually made that mistake before with my first, thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to pump so that way my husband can take on feeding and all this stuff. And my pump created a huge issue with my oversupply. And then my breasts were so engorged that I had to pump to release some of the pressure before I could then hand him off to my husband so then he could feed him. And so it created a big issue. So I really would not recommend bringing in a pump until after you and your baby have had time together, like a month, 2 months of just feeling on like how much the baby actually needs, and then kind of waiting to build your stash of milk after, maybe adding in one extra pump session so you can have an extra, bag in case, say you want to take a nap or you're going to run out and run an errand, and you can keep some milk at home with your partner or a loved one who's watching after the baby. So I think that introducing breast pumps too early can really throw off your supply and lead to a really big issue, which happened with my first kid. Being prepared. So creating a comfortable space. This is so important. You need to have an area where you have a bunch of stuffy, cushy, comfortable pillows. So you can have like a mattress that feels good, soft bedding, pillows, stuffed animals, anything that feels good and cozy to you, because you're going to be spending a lot of time, if you're nursing, in this position, looking down at your baby, looking down at your breast, watching your baby, holding your baby. So using pillows and stuffies and comfortable stuff to actually set yourself up into this throne where you are nursing and bonding with this baby in your throne, and you're so comfortable. Make sure that your baby's sleeping space is close to you, especially for the first few months. For diapering and feeding, if you're not already going to be co-sleeping with your baby, then have the baby close to you. In addition to the sleeping area, you're going to want to have newborn essentials to ensure you're prepared. So diapers, whether you're using disposable or cloth, baby onesies, sleepers, and socks and hats, depending on where you live. Swaddling blankets are amazing. Baby safe laundry detergent, baby monitoring if you want to use one of those, and having everything organized to reduce your stress. And emergency preparedness. So being prepared for emergencies can ensure that you're having a less stressful labor experience. And one of the key aspects is knowing the route to the hospital or birthing center ahead of time. So practice the drive at different times of the day so you're familiar with traffic or alternate routes in case of roadblocks. And another important risk for you another important task is packing your go bag for labor. So this could be ready weeks before your due date, and it could include your ID, insurance, comfortable clothes, toiletries, snacks, water, phone chargers, items for the baby. And having a bag packed in advance will allow you to be ready and not feel like you need to scramble on that day. Signs of labor and when to go to the hospital, if you're going to the hospital, I should say. All right, labor. There's early signs of labor, and this is like not the go time. This is like it's like the preview to the movie. Like you still got some time to hang out, right? This can include contractions, which I like to call surges, and this is one of the clear signs that it's approaching. Contractions, if this is your second baby, can happen weeks in advance, like a month in advance even. And your body just knows the way, so it's starting to prepare. These become more regular and intense and close together. Unlike Braxton Hicks, which are irregular and often painless, true labor surges causes discomfort and tend to increase in intensity. The other one is your waters breaking, leaking, or rupturing. It's a sign when the amniotic sac ruptures, commonly known as your water breaking. This can happen as a sudden gush of fluid or a slow trickle. Once the water breaks, it's important to notify your healthcare provider, as delivery is typically expected within the next 24 hours. Other physical indicators you may experience, such as a bloody show, the loss of a mucus plug, increased pelvic pressure as the baby drops lower, and a mild backache. These symptoms can indicate your body is preparing for labor. So these are early signs. So just think, okay, We might be watching a movie soon. We may be going into the real deal or not, right? Like, or not. I had it with my second kid where I was having an increase of the surges. They were getting more intense and closer together. And I had experienced some water leaking at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I stayed home until 10:30. Got to the hospital at 11 or 12. And when they checked me, they said, "Your waters didn't break." And I said, "Well, yes, they did. There was water leaking down my right leg. I know I wasn't peeing." And they said, "Okay, well, it could have been a high tear, so sealed back up." So I was far enough along. I was 5. So they said, "Well, you're dilated to a 5, so we're going to just keep you here if you want to stay." And I decided to stay. So it could just be a leak, and it could be some time before anything else happens. False labor versus true labor. It can be challenging to tell the difference between Braxton Hicks contractions and then true labor. Braxton Hicks contractions are like practice contractions, and they feel the tightening of the abdomen. They're usually irregular and tend to ease with movements or changing in positions, and they don't usually intensify. In contrast, true labor follows a regular pattern. They become more gradual and more frequent, and they last longer. They don't go away with movement, and they will intensify as labor progresses. So a good rule of thumb is 5-1-1. Go to the hospital birthing center when the contractions are 5 minutes apart, lasting 1 minute each for at least 1 hour. And you can also ask your provider when they see it's a good time. Like, what's the amount of time I should be looking at or tracking of when I should come in? So 5 minutes apart, lasting 1 minute each, lasting for 1 hour. That's a good time to head in. Making moves. That is if you're doing that, or it might be a good time to call your midwife. And if you're having a midwife come to the house, you can say, "When should I call you?" After 1 hour of surges, like as they're intensifying, when do you want to be notified? And you're probably going to be kind of talking back and forth the entire time. All right, so when to call your doctor and midwife, it's important to let them know if you're experiencing regular painful contractions that are 5 minutes apart for an hour or more. If your water breaks, even if your labor hasn't started, note the color and odor of the fluid. It gives important information. You experience heavy vaginal bleeding or notice an unusual discharge. You feel decrease in fetal movement or have other concerns about your baby. You have persistent headaches, sudden swelling, or changes in your vision. This could indicate that you have a condition like preeclampsia, or your healthcare provider will guide you when to come in based on your symptoms and stage of pregnancy. What to expect upon arrival at the hospital? Once you arrive at the hospital or birth center, you're going to go to the administration process. This typically includes an initial examination to assess your labor. Nurses will check your cervical dilation, see how far along you are, check the baby's heart rate and contractions using a fetal monitoring, and your healthcare provider will ask you about your labor symptoms and any changes in fetal movement and ask you whether your water has broken. They will also review your birth plan to understand your preferences for pain management and any other aspects of your labor and delivery. If you're in active labor, you'll be admitted to a labor room or a birthing suite. If you're not, you may be asked to walk around or wait until your labor progresses. Understanding what to expect can help you reduce anxiety and make sure that you're prepared for when it's time to go to the hospital if that's the route. Coping with labor and delivery. So labor stages and breathing techniques. Early labor is that beginning phase. The cervix starts to dilate and efface, so it starts to thin out. Contractions at this stage are mild to moderate and irregular, so they might feel like menstrual cramps. Early labor can last several hours or even days, and many women spend this time at home resting and just staying hydrated. It's a good time to relax, practice breathing techniques, and consume your energy. That's the biggest thing. Active labor is when contractions become more frequent, regular, and intense, signaling that the cervix is dilated more rapidly, up to 10 centimeters. This is when most people head to the hospital or birthing center. Pain management techniques, whether natural or medical, can help during this phase as the intensity or contractions increase. And then there's the transition phase. And this is the final phase before pushing, and this is transition stage. It's often the most intense. Contractions become very close together and last longer. Emotional support and effective coping strategies are effective here as the body prepares to deliver the baby. At this point, the cervix is fully dilated, and the birthing person will soon feel the urge to push. And that's so interesting, like the urge to push, you may feel an urge to push, And for me, I'm an intense human, and I really needed more than like this hype up, get me ready to push. I really needed to relax more and more, because the push and the contractions, like this tightness, created physical tightness in my body. So I'm recommending this for people who have different things, right? If you know your thing, like, well, I get hyped up easy. I go so hard. So if you do that to me, then I'm like, and it's not good, right? It's actually going to cause the opposite. So for me, I went into this full relaxation. So anytime somebody said, you're getting ready to push, I was like, get ready to fall asleep, Carly. Like, I told myself, get ready to fall asleep harder. And I just went more into the relaxation, more into the full surrender, more into the relax. And I actually feel that most people would do really well if they went to further relaxation, that it would ease everything. It would ease the pain. It would ease everything if you really adopted that mindset. Breathing techniques. So this is one of the best techniques we can use to manage your labor, and it helps relax the baby and increase blood flow and helps your focus during these surges. So slow breathing, just relaxing more, deeper, sinking into the bed. Pattern breathing, this as the labor intensifies, some people find it helpful to shift to a more rhythmic breathing. So it could be inhale, exhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, exhale. Focus breathing, during this transition phase, the contractions are more intense. Concentrating on a breathing pattern such as a quick inhale followed by a long exhale can provide relief. Next is positions and medical interventions. Positions for labor and delivery. It's important to talk about these with your physicians, because some won't be supportive of you getting into different positions, but these are the most ideal. So we want the pelvis upright. We want gravity helping the baby drop down. So standing and walking, gravity can speed this up and make these contractions more effective. Swaying or leaning on a partner can give you that support. Squatting opens up the pelvis and allows the baby to descend more easily. And hands and knees, this is on all fours, can relieve the pressure on your lower back and help turn the baby into optimal position for birthing. It's also good for easing back labor. Side lying is a good restful position, and it helps your labor progress, especially if you're needing time to conserve your energy or feeling tired. Upright sitting or on a birthing ball, again, is a great position, or toilet sitting. Toilet sitting puts your pelvis in the exact upright position. You can turn around on the toilet so that way your head is coming on the seat, and you can rest your head on the top of the toilet to find it more restful, but that keeps your pelvis upright as well. And so a really great option for birthing. Okay, so medical interventions, induction. If labor doesn't start on its own and there is a medical concern, then they may want to use an induction like a Pitocin and or breaking the water. Induction can speed up the labor, but it also can increase the intensity of contractions rather fast and put you in a place like this is too intense, too fast. An epidural is a form of pain relief administered via a catheter placed in the lower It's placed in the lower back, numbing the lower half of the body, and it's the most common form of pain relief for labor. It's offering significant relief when allowing you to remain alert during your delivery. A cesarean section, and this is a surgical procedure used to deliver the baby through an incision in the abdomen and uterus. It may be planned ahead of time for medical reasons and can be performed as an emergency procedure if complications arise, such as fetal distress, stalled labor, or placenta issues. And vacuum or forceps delivery. These tools can be used in a vaginal birth if the baby is having difficulty moving through the birth canal. They provide gentle assistance in guiding the baby in the pushing phase. Post-birth recovery and care. So there's the physical recovery is a really important time. The first few hours after delivery, the body starts to heal and adjust. The uterus starts to contract to stop bleeding and return to its pre-pregnancy size. In the first hours, you may experience cramping or after pains, especially if it isn't your first baby. The medical team will monitor your vital signs like bleeding and overall well-being and assess your perineum if you had any vaginal delivery and your incision at site if you had a C-section. First days postpartum. During the first few days, your body will continue to shed the uterine lining. leading to vaginal discharge, which is initially heavy, bright red. You may experience swelling and discomfort, particularly in the perineal area. If you had stitches or tearing, ice packs, sitz bath, and pain relief medications can help the healing process. If you had a C-section, recovery may take longer. You will need to follow specific instructions regarding your wound care and activity restrictions. And then postpartum body changes. It's normal to experience changes in your breast engorgement, changes in your abdomen, and hormonal shifts. Swelling in the legs and feet may persist as your body eliminates extra fluids. If you are breastfeeding, you may feel tenderness in your breast as milk comes in. Stay hydrated, eat nutritious meals, and get as much rest. It's going to help in your physical recovery. So those after pains, if you're having your second or third or fourth baby, they're more intense. Your body knows exactly what to do to shrink up. So it's there for a reason. It's the third baby. I was like, holy crap, I forgot this is more intense. After I just had the baby, this is more intense. As your body is literally like using these contractions to help shrink your uterus back to its normal size. So have a heating pad, have these things around that's going to help you heal. Emotional recovery, after you're adjusting to this emotional journey, the hormonal shift happens after childbirth, combined with the new responsibilities for caring with a newborn, can lead to postpartum mood swings and ups and downs. It's important to acknowledge these feelings and understand that they're a normal part of recovery. The postpartum blues can happen in the first week or 2 weeks after giving birth. You experience this feeling of sadness, irritability, anxiety, or mood swings. This is due to the rapid drops in hormones of estrogen and progesterone, and the baby blues are temporarily and provide their own and prove on their own as your body adjusts. But when to seek help? If these feelings persist and worsen after 2 weeks, it could indicate postpartum depression, another mood disorder, which affects 10 to 20% of new mothers. Symptoms may be persistent sadness, withdrawal from family and friends, difficulty bonding with your baby, extreme fatigue. It's crucial to reach out to your healthcare provider if you feel overwhelmed, and early intervention can help you feel better and support you in this emotional journey. Breastfeeding and bonding. The importance of breastfeeding. Initial breastfeeding within the first hour of birth, if possible, has numerous benefits for the mother and baby. The early milk is the colostrum, and it is packed with antibodies and nutrients to protect the baby's immune system. Breastfeeding also helps the uterus contract, reducing postpartum bleeding. Lactation consultants are often available in hospitals and birthing centers to assist with latching and the position to ensure a comfortable start to breastfeeding. And skin-to-skin contact. The powerful skin-to-skin cannot be overstated. Placing the baby on the mother's chest immediately after birth promotes bonding, stabilizes the baby's heart rate and temperature, and encourages breastfeeding initiation. It also helps the baby feel secure and can reduce crying. Fathers or parents can also benefit from skin-to-skin contact as it fosters this bonding and helps regulate the baby's breathing and temperature. In conclusion, get prepared. As you prepare for your childbirth, it's essential to take away the key components. Preparation involves understanding the physical and the emotional aspects of labor and delivery, and equipping yourself with the knowledge in the stages of the labor, and practicing coping techniques, breathing exercises, all these different things that are going to help you plan for your baby and enter in with a sense of readiness. Equally important to your mental health is your emotional preparation. It's natural to have concerns or anxieties about the unknowns, but building the support system, diving into these fears, looking at the root cause is going to help you walk in with confidence, even if it's your first birth, even if you don't know what you're doing, just trusting your body, trusting your intuition, and knowing it's all going to be great. And take heart. As you approach this life-changing event, take heart in knowing that you've done the work to prepare yourself, both physically and emotionally. Surround yourself with people who support you, who uplift you, who want to be there with you. Whether that's your partner, your doula, your midwife, close family members, trust your body's ability to bring this baby into the world, as this is what it's meant to do. Above all, approach birth with confidence and flexibility. Birth can be empowering and transformative experience. You are capable of meeting it all with strength and grace. Be kind to yourself. Embrace the support system around you. Trust whatever path that it leads you to. And just be here in love, in peace, in joy, and surrender, as this is the most exciting part that you're ever going to experience in your whole life. I'm so stoked for you. I'm grateful that you're trusting me, that you're here checking in. And if there's more questions on birth and delivery, or you want more information, you want me to expand on any of these topics, I'm happy to do so. And the next steps, I just want to tell you guys that the next step really for you at the end of this course is to actually level up. So once you get to 40 points, like literally 40 points, like posting a comment, I have been really nailing down my sleep routine and I'm feeling amazing. Last night I slept 7 hours. Or I did a grounding experience last night and I laid down in the grass for 15 minutes before I went to bed. I noticed improved in sleep. Literally just commenting. Tell us what you're doing. I increased my water intake. Now I'm drinking 120 ounces a day. I feel so much more energy. Make a comment on other people's posts in that community area, and that gets you to the next level. And why that's so important, because when you hit level 4, you unlock the 3-course bundle. And this is a huge value. It's got partner support in there, the emotional traumas and stressors in your life, and it's going to give you another bundle of information of like literally what your partner needs to do to support you on this journey, what you need to do to dive into the stress and triggers and things that could be impacting your health and hormones and your past stories. And all of that is so important for you as a parent stepping into this next phase of your life, literally healing yourself from the inside out. It's one of the passions that I am the most excited about, is diving into those unmet emotional needs, looking at our traumas and our triggers, and also bringing your partner in so they have an active role in this journey. So get to that level 4. Start to comment. Talk to us about what you're doing, and people will comment. Open up that door and also be a friend. Comment to other people's. And when you're commenting to others, you're getting points, you're earning these rewards, and then you're going to unlock that level and have access to a whole nother course bundle, or I should say 3 other course bundles. So I'm grateful for you being here, and I love to see you in the chat, in the weekly Q&As. Ask me questions, or if you're like, hey Carly, I'm jumping on the live Q&A. I want more information about this labor and delivery thing. I want to know more about breastfeeding. I want to know more about why it's so important. I didn't even know this. Literally anything. You have a chance to ask me any questions that would be helpful for you on this journey. That's what I'm here to do. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. Sending you light and love. Aloha and a hui hou. Until next time.